Hey guys, it's Anna from Anna's Magical Moments. So today we're going to go over where you should go on your vacation. So that might be a silly question to some people. It might just be completely obvious in your head. Like, for instance, my fiance, I asked him, where do you want to go on your honeymoon? And he was like, duh, Disney. And so, it's an important part of both of our lives and our relationships. So Disney made complete sense to us. But, if you have your leave, and you don't know what to do with it, so this might actually be a very valid question for you. So sometimes you kind of have to think, well, does your vacation have a purpose? Do you have something that maybe it's on your bucket list to do? Or there's a festival that you might want to go to? Or, you just have always wanted to visit a certain part of the country, visit a certain park. So it's like, what is your purpose of your trip? If your purpose of your trip is to just relax, that's a very valid purpose. And, maybe, picking Virginia Beach on Memorial Weekend is not the best if you want quiet, relaxing beach time. So you kind of have to think your purpose. So for instance, my vacation. We are planning to go to Norway next March because it's the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back that it was released. And so we wanted to pay homage because me and my fiance are huge Star Wars fans. My fiance loves the snowtrooper costumes. We're both very involved with the 501st Legion, which is a Star Wars nonprofit costuming group. And so he kind of had this idea, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's go for the 40th anniversary. And so it just started as just an idea, and so it steamrolled, and we're starting to plan our trip to go. I think they said Empire Strikes Back was shot in March. And so that's the time frame that we're going to go in. And so we're starting planning, we have our purpose of our trip. Now it's the other things that come along. But I'm going to go a little bit more of the purpose. So sometimes another example of why you want to pick a destination is maybe a festival. We're also planning 2021, we're going to try to go to Japan. Now, my father, when I was young, was stationed in Japan. He was stationed at Koda Air Force Base for 6 years. And I loved living there as a child, but I lived there from when I was 2.5 to 3, all the way up. Was he stationed there 6 years? So I thought we left. Anyways, besides the point. We were there for a while. I'm not sure if he was stationed there true for 6 years, but that's about around the time. And so I want to experience it as an adult, I have fond childhood memories, but they're childhood memories. I want to make adult memories. I want to eat wagyu. I want to drink sake. I want to, do a little bit more of the adult things. And also, I love Japanese TV. One of my favorite TV shows growing up was Ultraman. And apparently every year they have a huge festival in end of July into August. And it's it sounds really cool and I really want to do it. So we're kind of planning the trip. I mean, it's still a long ways away, but I've kind of roughly estimated our budget because we want to do Tokyo. My cousin, I'm not half Japanese, but my cousin lives in Japan, and so we were going to visit my cousin, and then we have another friend that lives out in Japan somewhere. He hasn't looked up where, he hasn't asked yet. So, and we want to go to, of course, Disneyland Tokyo and also Universal that's in Osaka. And if we can, make a little hop over to Korea to visit some of my Korean relatives because they promised to take care of us. But we're not sure if we can do that all. So yeah, sometimes having a festival or you just want to go to say you just want to go to Disney World. It's a great family vacation. There's so much to do because you have food, you have theme park, you have just fun for the whole entire family. Or you might just want to go to like an all-inclusive. You don't want to have to worry about anything. You want to sit on the beach and like ask for, your fun little cocktail drink. And that might just be your purpose, And then, of course, you might have your educational vacations that, you're going to sightsee, like the museums. Like, of course, I live in the D.C. area, Washington, D.C. area. And so that's very popular, Go to all the Smithsonian museums, go to the military history museums, go to the spy museum, the newseum. Because there's so much like education in this area. And so that might be part of your trip. There's also like other purposes like humanitarian vacations, or like your church like retreats, or you can help build, rebuild communities. There's other purposes for vacation besides just a little bit R&R. And just experiencing something new in a new area. So after you kind of figure out your purpose, now we have to get to the ouch part, the budget. So you really have to think about your budget. Sometimes as a travel agent, I get people that are like, oh, I want to go to Disney World for 10 days. I only have $1,000. It's not going to get you much. And I feel bad, because it's like, sometimes it's like younger couples that, maybe they just like eloped and they want to go to Disney World, but I'm like, I can't sell you a vacation package for $1,000. I mean, like sometimes we can get good deals, but having a realistic budget, even though like, yes, you want to contact me as a travel agent and, and you utilize my services, which are free, in like 99.9 cases, but I like, I can't help your budget. I can help you maybe come with a more realistic budget. Like I've had people like, hey, I know this is going to be expensive. Like my friend wants to go to Maldives. She emailed me and she was like, hey, I know this is going to be expensive. I know it's really, really early. Can you maybe can we just do like a ballpark estimate of maybe how much this is going to cost? And, I like pretty much like pulled up like the time of year she wanted to go, flights, like, estimated flight cost, and, picked out a few resorts that were like, just may look good. Of course, we'd have to sit down and iron them out, like iron it out a little bit more once, but I gave her a ballpark estimate of how much that trip is going to cost, because I know it's some of these vacations, some of these places are not cheap. Like, if you want a cheap flight, you don't pick Cecily's, you don't pick Japan. Especially if you live like in like Northern Virginia or DC area. Like flights to like those type of places are expensive, and like I'll use the Maldives example, like the flights were expensive, and then also like the transfers were expensive. This is not a transfer, like you can't take a $30 Uber ride from the Orlando airport to like Port Orleans. These transports are actually like either they're usually by boat or they're like a mini little hop with a little mini airplane. So of course, fueling an airplane is going to cost more than fueling a little Honda Civic that the Uber driver is utilizing. So it's like, and then of course, like we couldn't really find like an all-inclusive for her so far. We're still searching. I'm still like kind of looking into it. Because some don't offer it. Some resorts don't do all-inclusive, and some locales, like Hawaii, Hawaii is super expensive to eat, and like food's expensive. So, but if you want to go to an all-inclusive, like in like the Caribbean, like that's a lot easier, and it might be more suitable. So sometimes having a budget, but being flexible with it. Like maybe like instead of going to Disney Christmas week, because obviously their rates are more expensive Christmas week. Well, maybe, but to pull the kid, like I know the kid, like have the kids have an extra long vacation. I mean, it's not like I went to school. We didn't really learn anything the first week back from our winter vacation that we didn't really, I don't think I learned anything. Like I was still I'm still on winter break mode when I was a kid. because the week after, everybody goes back, it's actually a really quiet time, and you might have some of the race weekend traffic for Disney, or like let them have an extra week out of school. Like the first week of school is also, it's just a bunch of syllabuses and boring stuff that, we're not really like gung-ho about learning the first week of school, because that Labor Day and that first week of school is actually really light in the parks too. Mind you, this year is probably different because Galaxy's Edge is here. But usually that time of frame is a little bit cheaper, a little bit less crowded. But, have some flexibility in your budget, like if you can. But I know it's hard because sometimes, especially for people who have children, the peak seasons are going to be spring break, winter break, summer break, But, and then also, like, if your special anniversary happens to be like a very popular time of year, for some of these resorts, it might be harder. Like maybe like peak season for a resort is exactly falls under your anniversary, so it's like you're gonna be stuck unless you want to like not celebrate on your true anniversary, and if you have some flexibility. But we all like to celebrate the day that, things happen, like your birthday or your wedding day. So having flexibility, and just sometimes doing pre-research, like, I try to be upfront with all of my clients, like everything, but, also have a little bit of knowledge of maybe like knowing like, yeah, I can't really take a family of 5 to Disney World on a budget of like $1,000. Like, it's not feasible. Unless you do, I don't even know if you could do that with just a day, like a day. Well, maybe a day trip, but I'd have to. That's really a lot of math that I won't do right now. So yeah, budget, and the budget is pretty big part of like where you vacation and like how long and stuff like that, and but time of seasons, like there are some times of seasons that might be cheaper also due to hurricane season. That's why travel insurance is so important. But it's like, I know like there's a reason why like hurricane season for some resorts, like they reduce their rates, because there's always a risk, we cannot control Mother Nature. We wish we could predict, but the fact is Mother Nature's going to do what she's going to do. And so yeah, it sucks, but it sucks even more if you don't have the travel insurance. Because, and things happen in life, like, illnesses or, like just job related issues, having travel insurance does help in those certain cases. But yeah, those are really two big issues that, come into play where you pick for your vacation. And also it's like, you have to kind of like, if it's like a trip, like if you're doing like a solo trip, you have you're planning everything. Like if I was planning a solo trip right now, I would go to Disney World, but that's just me. That's my first inclination. If I was going with, say, like my best friend's not into theme parks. She's not into beaches. Maybe she is. I've never heard her talk about a beach. But you know where we would go? We would go to one of these haunted, like, hotels, and she would be like, let's do this, and I'd be like, oh, just because I love you, I will do it. But yes, that is her thing. She likes the haunted houses. She has a list for us. We haven't been able to go, but like I think there's a haunted hotel, or I think it's a bed and breakfast in like Staunton, Virginia, or I think it's Staunton pops in my head. And there's also, I would told her if we do this haunted hotel in San Diego, I am taking her to Disneyland, and she's just gonna suck it up. And we've agreed on it. We haven't planned out the trip yet, but I go stay a night with her in that haunted hotel in San Diego, and she comes with me to Disneyland. It's agreed upon. That's her thing. Not a beach, not theme parks, haunted hotels, haunted Airbnbs, haunted sites. Like, she likes that kind of stuff. So yeah, you know, you have to think about the person you're traveling with. My fiance, like, I really want to go to Sandals with him, or he really doesn't want to go to Sandals with me. Like, I mean, he'll go with me, but he doesn't want to go to Sandals. Like, he's not into beaches. Like, his idea of, like, fun is not sitting on a beach. I mean, I know Sandals offers a lot more, but that's not his thing. That's why he likes the theme parks. He loves the vibe of Disney World and I mean, not Disneyland, but he's never been, but Disney World and Universal. He grew up on it, and that's what he digs. But you know what? He will go with me one time, and he'll enjoy it. But you know, like, even though like beaches aren't his thing, like, he's told me, he's like, I want to go to Ulani one time, and I was like, really? I was like, that's a beach. I mean, it's Hawaii, and he's like, I'll go. Let's go to Ulani, and I'm like, so. We don't know. Like, that's the problem sometimes with being a travel agent. Like, you have so many things, so many places that you could want to visit. But Ulani is on the list. We don't know. I don't know when. I'm like thinking, like, for my parents' 40th anniversary in 5 years, it would be a good like family trip, because my parents really enjoyed Hawaii when we went when I was like 2 years old, and I think that's like a really great, you know, kind of family, like, you know, celebrate their 40th anniversary. And then just have fun. And it's a beautiful location, you know. And then, you know, think of your family. Like, you know, maybe all your family wants to, you know, go scuba diving. You know, you can't really pick, like, you know, Busch Gardens in Williamsburg to go scuba diving, but maybe going like Discovery Cove and playing with the dolphins, you know, or you know, the Caribbean. The Caribbean has a lot to offer in that area when it comes to like scuba diving and, you know, swimming with the pigs. And that's not my idea of fun. I don't really like, pigs are cute. I just don't like they're big animals. I mean, this coming from a person who rides horses, but I don't know, like, pigs scare me a little bit in person. Like, they're so cute, but they're just big. But anyways, besides the point, off topic. But yeah, swimming with the pigs. If you're like family member, well, you can't go to Disney World because they don't have any pigs that you can swim with at Disney World. So you have to pick the proper place. And, you know, having a good travel agent can help you make all these decisions. You know, like, I was talking to one of my clients about like her dining, and she was asking me these questions, and, you know, she was going back and forth. She was like, well, I think my family likes this, and I was like, well, you know, then maybe try Be Our Guest. You know, like, the Beast is there at dinner time, and that's really cool. And then Artist Point, you have Snow White and the Evil Queen, and you know, and she was like, I really want Artist Point. And so it's like, you know, we help you formulate a plan. You know, and so that we are your biggest cheerleaders. Whether you use me as a travel agent or if you use some other travel agent, you know, a good travel agent is your cheerleader. We want you to have just as much as fun as we do. I mean, I love planning vacations, so like, I love talking to my clients about, especially dining. I love to eat, but, you know, I want you to have just as much as fun as I do. Even though I won't go with you on your vacation, it'd be like kind of creepy, but but I enjoy seeing pictures of like my clients going on vacation, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that's like the huge issue, you know. I mean, not the huge issue, but I think those are the important points: your purpose, your budget, and especially what your family or your friend or whoever you're traveling with, like, what they want to do. I mean, that's a huge deal, you know. So all those can kind of like, you know, factor in where you go on vacation. So this is probably a long video, but my name is Anna again, and I am a travel agent with Magical Moments Vacation. And if you ever need help with your vacation planning needs, I'll put my link in the description, so you can email me, call me, or just hit me up on YouTube, you know, and we will get your vacation plan. I specialize in Disney and Universal. I'm also Sandals travel agent, and I can book Busch Gardens, Discovery Cove, SeaWorld, and so many more other locations around the world. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Talk to you later. Bye.